Picture this. You walk into a remote, dead silent house. The guy who just moved in yesterday, he's completely vanished. No packed bags, no footprints, absolutely no signs of a struggle. But as you walk through these chillingly quiet rooms, you find an antique, dust-covered mirror. And written across the glass, literally swiped through the heavy dust by a single finger, are these exact, terrifying words: "Now I have returned." Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really dark sequence of events from 2026 that locals still only speak about in terrified, hushed whispers.
We're going to break down the timeline of what's known as Incident 1 of 2026, or as terrified locals call it, the shadow in the mirror. This explainer is basically a chronological case study of a man named Ali and his completely inexplicable supernatural disappearance. We'll be looking strictly at the accounts and the terrifying sequence of events gathered from the source material. So get comfortable, because this psychological descent, it happens incredibly fast.
Section 1, the remote village. Okay, let's dive into this. So Ali relocated far away from the city for a new job, and he finds himself in this isolated ancient village nestled right at the foot of an imposing mountain range. He was a total outsider, entirely unaware of the local lore. Out here, life doesn't just, quiet down at night. It stops completely the moment the sun sets. Every single door is secured with heavy padlocks, and this suffocatingly heavy air just blankets the town. And locals do this because they firmly believe mysterious voices roam the dark, actively luring the unsuspecting away. Completely unaware of all this terrifying local context, Ali rents a house. And of course, it's a dilapidated, cheap property sitting right on the very edge of the town, literally the exact place you wouldn't want to be if malevolent things are lurking just beyond the tree line. The accounts specifically highlight that the house was consumed by a deafening, ringing silence. It wasn't just like a quiet house, it was an unnatural, oppressive absence of sound that practically echoed in his ears. It created an immediate, crushing psychological weight right from the moment he walked through the front door. And here is how incredibly fast things unravel for our guy. This timeline brilliantly maps out his rapid descent into what is essentially a supernatural trap. Day 1 is just his mundane arrival. But by night 1 at exactly 2 a.m. we get the knock. Day 2 brings a desperate warning, and by night 2, Ali is just gone. We're talking about a rigid 48-hour window from a normal relocation to the complete erasure of a human being. Let's see how this builds, minute by agonizing minute. Section 2, Night 1, the first terror. So exhausted from his travels, Ali falls asleep. But suddenly, his eyes snap open in the pitch black. The clock reads exactly 2 a.m. Looking at the accounts of that night, the outside world didn't just seem asleep. It felt like time itself had completely stopped. There was no rustling of leaves in the wind, no dogs barking in the distance. Just this deep, suffocating stillness. When an environment is this artificially dead, your primal brain just panics because you realize something deeply unnatural is suppressing the normal, everyday sounds of the world.
And then, out of that absolute terrifying void of sound, comes a noise from his bedroom door. Slow, deliberate. Thump, thump, thump. Ali, whose heart is probably pounding out of his chest at this point, manages to nervously call out into the dark, demanding to know exactly who is standing outside his room.
For a long moment, there's no answer, just that heavy, ringing silence. And then, a voice responds from the hallway. "Open the door. I am tired." But the chilling detail, the absolute horror of this moment, is that the voice on the other side of the door was his own voice. Ali's blood completely runs cold. He bravely approaches the door and peers through the tiny crack. He sees nothing but pitch black darkness, but he can distinctly feel the heavy, oppressive gaze of an entity just waiting for him out there in the shadows. Section 3, the ignored warning. Ali miraculously makes it through that first terrifying night by simply refusing to open the door. Good call, right? But the very next morning, an elder from the village approaches him. He looks Ali dead in the eye and delivers the stark, grave warning. "Son, never open the back room of this house." I mean, that is a direct, undeniable red flag confirming the horror wasn't just in his head. But Ali, being a rational guy from the city, well, he dismisses the advice as mere rural superstition. He just convinces himself it was all a bad nightmare. But as we all know, unchecked curiosity is a powerful, highly dangerous thing.
When Allie returns home on night 2, the whole dynamic of the house has completely changed. The door to that forbidden back room, the one he was explicitly told to avoid at all costs, is now slightly ajar. And as he cautiously approaches it, a whisper drifts out from the darkness inside. Allie, you have arrived. The entity wasn't just waiting, it was expecting him. And instead of, running out the front door like he probably should have, his curiosity completely short-circuits his survival instincts. He pushes the door open.
Section 4, the Forbidden Mirror. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what he finds inside. Stepping into this forbidden space, Ollie finds a small, dusty room that looks like it hasn't been touched by human hands for decades. Sitting dead center is an antique, imposing mirror. Ollie stands directly in front of the glass, but the floor practically drops out from under him because the reflection staring back at him isn't him. It looks exactly like Ollie, down to the very clothes he's wearing, but with a distinctly demonic, malicious gleam in its eyes. And then, the earth-shattering realization hits him. The reflection is moving completely independently of his own body. The doppelganger inside the mirror smiles this twisted, cruel smile, looks directly at Allie, and speaks its final, terrifying words. You forgot me. Now you cannot leave. In that exact fraction of a second, every single light in the house violently extinguishes, plunging the room into absolute blackness. And Allie's desperate final scream is instantly swallowed by the dark. Section 5, the chilling aftermath. When the sun finally rises on day 3, concerned locals unlock their doors and approach that house on the edge of town, only to find it entirely empty. There is absolutely no trace of Allie or his belongings, and this brilliantly illustrates what happened. It was a perfectly executed supernatural trap, a literal trading of places. Allie's soul is now permanently trapped within the cold glass of the mirror, silenced forever. Meanwhile, the shadow, that malevolent entity that had waited patiently for years for the perfect, overly curious victim, well, it's now free. It has stolen Allie's identity and stepped right out into our physical world. So the crucial point we take away from this explainer isn't just a warning about avoiding creepy old houses on the edge of town. It serves as a dark cautionary fable about the sheer danger of uncontrolled curiosity and the malevolent things that actually prey upon it. We all have doors we're warned not to open, which leaves us with this final, lingering question to ponder. What secrets are hiding in the forgotten rooms of your mind, or maybe even your house? And if you hear your own voice calling from the dark, are you absolutely sure you want to open the door and find out? Thanks for exploring this fascinating and chilling 2026 case study with me today. Keep learning, stay curious, but, maybe keep that back room locked.